Yeah, so there any opportunity, many opportunities for you to discuss, to ask information, to solicit information, you know, however you would like. But if you want to have a discussion in public at council.
Not necessarily. I'd prefer to do some research and stuff before bringing it to public.
Right, that's fine.
You were, Shuka, you want to ask a question?
No, I just asked her. I thought, you know, give me a little rope here because I don't know the answer either. But I would have thought the committee meeting, the finance.
Yeah. Well, you could finance
that would
or
be the
economic
time
development.
To do it, right?
Yeah.
Economic development would be the good place to do it.
Thank you.
Yeah.
I got a real quick question, Mr. DiGiacomo. I know you were mentioning earlier you wanted to help like with the homelessness issue, and I'm very interested in that. Like, are you interested in like providing resources, housing? Like, what do you want the meeting to accomplish?
I would like to see, instead of the city, us dealing with city stuff and the township dealing with township stuff, I would like to see us all come together with a shared policy or a shared vision. And this is my understanding of what's fueling our current problem is it's people that don't want to get help. Because certainly Ashtabula is a hub of social services. So I would like, I guess I would like to see, we give a timeline, like, okay, here's a heads up, you get 6 months, you've been illegally squatting, you either get help or you have to get out of that situation.
Okay. I'd like to help with that.
Okay, thank you.
I would just.
Now, is that an event you're going to hold with interested parties coming together to discuss, or?
No, it's more officials just getting together. It's just officials getting together to talk. I guess on policies to see what we can do. It's just
Coordinating efforts, or?
Yeah, to see if there's a sharing of resources, a sharing. I just want to. I feel like it's the white elephant that's continually in the room that is not really addressed, and I think it's not addressed because people don't know how to address it.
Well, we're going to start.
Mr. Giacomo, I can tell you we address it every day.
And there are agencies that's their thing to deal with. I don't. Anyway, we're going to start our meeting. I don't want to be late. I'm not late. We could do it. We could continue at the meeting if you want, but. No,
I don't know that I wanted that.
All right.
That spotlight on it.
Okay. I'm going to call the meeting for the City Council for the City of Ashtabula to order. Today is April 1st, 2024. At this time, if you would please stand for the prayer and the Pledge of Allegiance.
Heavenly Father, we ask you to let your inspiration precede this council's actions. And all present here today, and your assistant further us, so that every word and works of our may take its beginning from you, and so begun, may through you reach its completion. Amen.
Amen. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Ms. Bell, will you please call the roll?
Ms. Holman?
Present.
Mrs. Mills?
Here.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Here.
Mrs. Foglio?
Here.
Mr. Guerrero?
Here.
Mr. Simeone?
Here.
Mr. Roskovics?
Here.
Mr. Timonier?
Here.
Ms. Cooper?
Here.
Mrs. Augustin?
Here.
Ms. Bell?
So we have everyone with us tonight, which is always nice. We have no Presentations or announcements, we have no request for executive session, I don't believe. Seeing none, we will go on with the approval of our previous council minutes.
March 18th, 2024, regular council meeting was called to order at 7 o'clock p.m. by Council President Roskovich. Vice President Russell Simeone offered the opening prayer, and the Pledge of Allegiance was recited. Present, Mr. Roskovich, Mr. Simeone, Mrs. Foglio, Mr. Guerrero, Mrs. Mills, Ms. Holman, Mrs. DiGiacomo. Officers present were City Manager Tim Manier, City Solicitor Cecilia Cooper, and Clerk of Council Bell.
Can I have a motion to waive the reading of the minutes in their entirety?
So moved. Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio and a second by Mrs. Mills. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? The minutes will stand approved or by a 7-0 vote. Thank you. Continuing on with the meeting, City Council we have no request for legislation this evening, but I would, and if I don't like to speak for the whole of council, but I would like to speak for myself as a member of council and say that I would like to thank the voters for approving our 2 levies, our police levy, which will continue to allow us to serve our city, and our paving levy, which is going to be doing a ton of paving this spring. You'll soon see that starting. So I'd like to thank the voters for giving us another opportunity to serve in that fashion. I know when the auditor put out his new tax rates, that caused quite a reaction, and I was concerned about how that would be viewed, but I'm glad to view the city residents of Ashtabula. Hopefully we're saying that we're good stewards of that money, and they are allowing us to continue to do that. Sadly, many of the levies didn't make it, but so hopefully things will get back to normal in that area. So that's all. Anyone else would like to add? Like I said, I'm always hesitant to speak for council, so, but I will say. City manager report.
Thank you, Mr. President. I have 2 ordinances to request. First is an ordinance to enter into agreement with Grand Finale Fireworks of Willoughby, Ohio, in the amount not to exceed $12,500 to provide a fireworks display at the 2024 Wine and Walleye Festival. Funds will be taken from Fund 233, and as I mentioned in pre-council, remember this is a combination of our parks, the Liftbridge Community Association, and sponsorships of Wine and Walleye that fund this. It's just a contract through the city when we do the fireworks.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Ms. Foglio moves, and
Second.
Ms. Holman seconds. And I don't want to speak out of turn, but or cause a commotion, but rumor has it maybe the hotel might be opening by July. So
We hope that it will be up and running even sooner than that, but July is the target right now.
Okay.
Yes. Mhm.
So if that's true, I
They're
know
coming
somebody
along.
who might be renting a room and get that rooftop view of those fireworks.
Absolutely.
That's what we do.
Mr. President,
Yes.
where's parking going to be for that?
It's going to be kitty corner. Some of it's going to be kitty corner from the hotel on Halbert and 8th Street, between 8th and 6th Street.
Right
You know where
behind
the
the
Goodwill park? I'm sorry.
Right behind Goodwill.
Yeah,
Yep.
where the Goodwill parking lot is over there. In fact, that may be coming up for the architecture board. They may be bringing their plans to do that parking lot there, so they're getting ready to do that.
There'll be about 80 parking spaces there, I believe.
Yeah.
Wow.
Okay. All in favor of adding this to our agenda?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to our agenda by a 7-0 vote.
Lastly, I'd like an ordinance to enter an agreement with Cap Steel here in Ashtabula for labor and materials to make repairs to Truck 27 in the amount not to exceed $12,968. Funding for this expense will be taken from PI Fund 503.
Mr. President,
Yeah.
I move on the manager's recommendation.
Second.
Mrs. Foglio moves, Mr. Simeone seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will add it to the agenda by a 7-0 vote.
Just a couple, I don't know if you guys have been watching, but we're supposed to get some pretty hairy weather tomorrow.
Yeah.
So please be aware of that. It looks like we're going to have some high winds, really excessive high winds. So, which leads into leaf pickup, which starts next week, April 15th in the wards. We're doing the wards first, and then we'll be in the harbor area after that. And then, of course, we do have the eclipse coming up on April 8th. I know somebody has been out there kind of putting some stuff on Facebook under a page for Walnut Beach. They have not been in contact with us about that. However, we have tried to do some things down at Walnut Beach to get things ready. We know that's going to be a good spot for people to, if it's clear that day, to watch the eclipse. So we're working to get the restrooms open this week. They will only be open for that day, and we'll shut them down again until we have more regular weather, and we know it's not going to freeze again. And before we open those up permanently, we usually do that late May, early June. Unfortunately, food trucks are booked all over the place, so there won't be any food trucks or anything down there, but people will be more than welcome to go down to the beach and use that as an observation area if they so choose. We will have extra staff on that day in the safety services, just in case. Basically what we're hearing from ODOT, the State Highway Patrol, and the EMAs across Ohio where this is going to hit. Most people are going to wake up that morning, look at the maps, see where it's clear, and start driving. So we don't know what the shot of us being clear up here that day is, but we'll see what happens. Yeah.
Thank you.
I know other individual locations throughout the city are having their own events, so just keep an eye on what's going on.
Any questions or comments for the manager? Ms. Cooper?
I just wanted to update the City Council on one thing that was happening in the municipal court. Thanks to the police department's narcotics unit, they interdicted a individual who was bringing a large quantity of marijuana into the city for sale. They seized the marijuana, and then based on further investigation went and seized that person's bank accounts. We have now forfeited that money to the Law Enforcement Trust Fund for the Ashtabula Police Department. It is approximately $10,000. So that's for our municipal court, that's a pretty big seizure, and we're real proud of the work the officers did in that investigation to get that money seized and forfeited.
Very good. Thank you, Ms. Cooper. And Ms. Augustine?
Finance doesn't have any report for council, Mr. President.
Okay, thank you. And Ms. Bell?
No report.
Okay, we're all set to go. Okay, so we do have some committee reports this evening. First would be Community and Development and Economic Development.
Yes. So we had J.P. Ducro presented information about the Remote Area Medical Clinic, RAM, as it's so noted. The clinic will take place April 13th and 14th at Lakeside High School. The clinic serves patients on a first-come, first-served basis beginning at 6 a.m. So if he is recommending that you get there before 6 a.m., I think the parking, he said the parking volunteers are starting at 3 a.m. In 2023, the clinic served over 545 patients and provided over $300,000 in free medical care. There will be a total of 50 dental stations, which is an increase from last year. The clinic provides medical exams, eyeglasses, dental extractions, and dental cleaning. Women's health care is being introduced at this year's clinic. A mammogram machine will be part of this year's services. This year, the RAM Clinic Committee members are working to ensure transportation barriers are eliminated. Sunset Transportation will provide free transportation for those in need. The RAM Clinic will not obtain personal information from people that a receiving surface. If a patient chooses to provide their personal information, a medical record will be created. On Saturday is when there will be eye care. So if that is what you need, vision care, Saturday would be the day. And they still need volunteers. So if you are interested in volunteering, you may go sign up at the Rams Clinic homepage. City Manager's report. The city manager stated part-time positions will be posted soon. Every summer, the city hires between 5 to 7 part-time employees that work between sanitation, public works, and the parks. The drainage system at Smithfield worked well. St. John's baseball team was able to utilize the field. He also stated Chestnut Village Senior Apartments will have their grand opening in April. The Harbor Hotel project is still in the construction phase. Molded Fiberglass is hiring for all 3 shifts. The 2024 Bands on the Beach event is booked for the summer. So if you're interested in coming down to the beach for free music, this event starts June 13th and will take place every other Thursday. So tell your friends. Parks and Recs Committee report. Julie Wayman from the My Neighborhood Collaborative stated their organization is recruiting board members. Their goal is to implement targeted outreach to get volunteers to help with the community garden. The organization will continue the community-supported agricultural program, CSA. The CSA program sells shares of garden produce. They anticipate 20 spots being available. Registration for the program starts in April. She also stated she would like to thank the City of Ashtabula for their continued support of the program. There will be no committee meeting in April because we're doing the cleanup April 20th. So if you haven't already signed up, which we are, I believe we're over 200 volunteers at this point, but you can still sign up, or if you can't sign up and you just want to clean up your yard or your neighborhood, we encourage everyone to do that on April 20th, which is also Earth Day. And that's it.
Thank you, Ms. DiGiacomo. Any questions or comments for Mrs. DiGiacomo? Huh? Finance and Personnel. The April.
Our next meeting will be, we will skip our April meeting, and our next meeting will be May 17th at 8:30 a.m.
Okay, May 17th. Okay. Public Works, Mrs. Mills?
Yes, we had a meeting on Tuesday, March 26th at 8:30 a.m. and we moved Mrs. Lisa Newsom to the April meeting. So we started out with the manager's report. Some of this was the same as in economic development, but at this time the city workers are patching roads. The asphalt plant should be opening in mid-April, which is beneficial because we use a hot mix, which works better, and I think that's more economical. Mr. Timoneer stated we should receive information needed from GPD by the end of March to put the street list out to bid. We talked about the restrooms at Walnut Beach will be open for the eclipse on the 8th, and the beach cleaner has been used once on the beach this year for that. They're working on cleaning up various parks in the city for spring activities, and we also talked about the drainage project at Smithfield as well. Water pollution report. Superintendent Mr. Pierce provided the water pollution control update. They started their disinfecting season, which starts May 1st, will be starting for May 1st to November 1st. So when they prepare for that, the ultraviolet system has 96 bulbs. So every year, everything has to be cleaned. The crystals the bulbs go into, so there's a lot of work to prep for that. They're still notifying in the area of the Division pump station. That one has a smaller cutter head on it. So they've been going to the community members in that area about flushing the different wipes that seems to get caught in there. We did have a discussion about when we have a lot of rain, about the sanitary sewer, it spills over to the storm sewer. This information does go to the EPA. There is a SSO ultrasonic level sensor. It alerts the department when this occurs. Also, there was a pump that stopped working down there, and the repairs were about $15,000. And they're still working on getting that expired permit. Waiting to hear back on that. Public Works report, the department's back on day shift starting in mid-April. They will be cleaning the city parks. They're patching roads, completing work signs, painting crosswalks, mowing city lots and parks. Leaf bag pickup starts in 2 weeks on April 15th. And Mr. Milnick encourages people to report potholes, litter, and things of that nature that their department is not aware of. I know Mrs. DiGiacomo and I have been out driving for the cleanup, that some of the streets don't have signs. So Mr. Timoneer reminded us, typically street signs are on the main streets and some secondary. So sometimes streets will go farther through, not all those are marked. I talked about, we will also notify sanitation department. We're going to meet tomorrow for the cleanup. We'll go over the routes, and then sanitation will know, so that after we do the cleanup, we'll make sure everything is disposed of properly. The Assistant Superintendent, Mark Verzella, this was a fact that I didn't know. Their department has a hazardous waste department section for anyone who needs to dispose of mercury. They do not want anyone pouring mercury down their drains. That does happen. So they can contact that department if they have anything they need disposed of. So we are going to meet in April, the 23rd at 8:30 with City Schools Lisa Newsom, Superintendent. At our May meeting, we'll have ATEC Superintendent. And June, we're hoping to have our meeting actually down at the plant. So that ought to be a little bit different.
Good.
That was it.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills. Any questions or comments for Mrs. Mills? I noticed today, Mr. Timoneer, when I went by the new bus garage, they like tore out all the sidewalks on Station Avenue and on Depot Street. And that's part of that project. They're going to get all new sidewalks in that
That's
area.
correct. Yep.
Well, that's pretty good. Yeah. Looks like a big project with regards to that. Okay. Okay, safety forces, I gave a report last week, and our April meeting would have been on Eclipse Day, so we're canceling it because they're going to be so busy. The police and the firemen would be very busy, so we're going to cancel that meeting. There was a planning commission meeting last week. They approved 3 items. A sign for Signature Health across the street. They'll be putting a sign up on Main Avenue, like a ground sign for Signature Health. A sign on Lake Avenue at the old Lawson's store, most recently Burrito Loco. They're going to be putting their sign up, and they're going to have it like one of those electronic signs, smaller. And I see they're doing quite a bit of work. They put a new facing on, so they might be getting near opening. And the housing, the Planning Commission also approved the houses on West 50th Street and McKinley Avenue. The gentleman who wants to build 6 houses there, the Planning Commission said that was good. And I guess according to he's going to build a house and then sell it, and then he's not going to build all 6 at once. He'll build them and then sell them, or no, sell them and then build as needed. Okay? All right. So that was the Planning Commission. The Historic Committee had a meeting, but there was no big news there. Like I said, I think they got a couple of things coming up, one being the parking lot for the hotel, and I forget what else, something else was going on. So that was those committees. Okay. All right. We're doing good. So tonight we have only 3 items of legislation. I will announce them. If anyone in the audience would like to address these 3 items only, now would be the time to do that. Authorizing the hiring of lifeguards for Walnut Beach, authorizing the purchasing of fireworks for the Wine and Walleye, or this authorizing the city manager to get the truck repaired at Cap Steel. Would anyone in the audience like to address any one of those items? Okay. Seeing no one, we will have the reading of the legislation. Ms. Bell, would you do that for us?
Ordinance number 22440, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into an agreement with the Ashtabula County YMCA for lifeguards. An ordinance authorizing an agreement with Grand Finale Fireworks in the amount of $12,500 to provide a fireworks display for the 2024 Wine and Walleye Festival. Ordinance number 22442, an ordinance authorizing the city manager to enter into a contract with Cap Steel Erectors, Inc. for the repairs to Truck 27.
Those are our 3 items of legislation. Is it council's desire to handle these items in consent agenda format?
Mr. President, on the YMCA, I'm going to have to abstain because I'm on the board.
Okay. So is it council's desire to handle items 2024-41 and 2024-42? We could handle those items together.
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Foglio moves, Mrs. DiGiacomo seconds. All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will handle these 2 items together by a 7-0 vote. Can I have a motion to waive the reading of these 2 items in their entirety?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Ms. Holman, second by Mrs. Foglio. Any discussion?
I have a question on the fireworks thing, because I just don't know. When they have that Wine and Walleye Festival, because this is new to me, if there is any profit derived from that, who gets it?
The Liftbridge Community Association does.
Okay. And then do they cover any of the fireworks?
Yes, they'll cover, typically the park board puts in either, from Park and Rec, it either gets 5,000 or 700 or 7,500, and then the rest of it is covered by either sponsorship. The fire department also kicks in to that, or the LBCA picks up the rest of it.
So it's not going to cost us $12,000?
No.
Okay.
No.
I was just asking.
Okay. Any other questions or comments? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of the legislation by a 7-0 vote. Can I have a motion to waive the charter requirements for 2 readings?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Ms. Holman. Ms. Bell, would you please call the roll on waiving 2 readings?
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovic?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
We will waive 2 readings by a 7-0 vote. We will now vote on passage of these 2 items. Would you please call the roll?
Mrs. Foglio?
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero?
Yes.
Mr. Simeone?
Yes.
Mr. Roskovic?
Yes.
Ms. Holman?
Yes.
Mrs. Mills?
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo?
Yes.
Okay. These 2 items of legislation have passed by a 7-0 vote. Can I have a motion? Can I have a motion to waive the reading of the entire legislation of item 2024-40?
So moved.
Second.
Ms. Holman moves and Ms. Foglio seconds. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
And anyone opposed? We will waive the reading of the legislation by a 7-0 vote. And then could I have a motion to waive the charter requirements of 2 readings?
So moved.
Second.
Motion by Mrs. Foglio, second by Mrs. Mills. Okay. And then you'll call the roll, and you'll just abstain.
Okay. Mrs. DiGiacomo,
Abstain.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero,
Yes.
Mr. Simeone,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich,
Yes.
Ms. Holman,
Yes.
Mrs. Mills.
Yes.
We will waive the 2 readings by a 6-0 vote with an abstention. And then we will now vote on adopting this item of legislation.
Mrs. Foglio,
Yes.
Mr. Guerrero,
Yes.
Mr. Simeone,
Yes.
Mr. Roskovich,
Yes.
Ms. Holman,
Yes.
Mrs. Mills,
Yes.
Mrs. DiGiacomo.
Abstain.
The item has passed by a 6-0 vote. There is no further legislation this evening. We had a light agenda.
Mr. President?
Yes.
Just for clarification purposes, may I ask Councilwoman DiGiacomo a question?
Yes.
Ma'am, your abstention applied to every vote involving that YMCA legislation.
Yes.
The waiving the charter requirements, waiving the second reading, all of that, your abstention applied to all of those votes.
Yes.
Okay. I just wanted to make sure that the minutes were clear.
Okay. All right. So maybe I might have, did I say for the waiving of the entire legislation, I said 7-0, it should be 6-0.
With one abstention,
Yeah,
yes.
would you correct that for me?
Yes.
Okay, thank you. 6-0 with one abstention, waiving the 2 readings, and then the adopting 6-0 with one abstention.
Yes.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Cooper. Keeping us honest. Any, that's our legislation. Any unfinished business for council this evening? Any new business would anyone like to bring before council? Quiet group, okay. Does anyone have anything for tell us something we don't know?
I do.
Thank you, Ms. Mills.
I do.
Mrs. Mills, go right ahead.
At our Access to Care meeting, which was March 28th, I forgot to mention this when Mrs. DiGiacomo was talking about RAM, but they are going to have a table set up about the healthy Ashtabula County to give more information out there. And also with our group, they started like how you do pop-up shops, but they're called popping up in your neighborhood. So it's like human service entities. So some of them are like Starting Point, the YMCA, Community Action, Help Me Grow, Laurelwood, Signature Health, the Health Department. So it's sharing community resources for you and your family. Health education and community resources, free health screenings, glucose, cholesterol, blood pressure. So their kickoff one in March at the GO CDC was very successful. So their next one is the day of the cleanup, April 20th at the YMCA from 1 to 3. So that's also if you're a volunteer and you go to have lunch at the YMCA after the cleanup, you're more than welcome to stop. They're going to have health education and all those resources there. So I thought that was kind of neat. In May, they're going to Lighthouse Harvest. In June, St. Mary's Church in Orwell. In August, they have St. Mary's again. So just doing some good stuff, but trying to get some education about health out there. A lot of free services, and the website's good. We have it on our city website now, so.
Thank you, Mrs. Mills.
Mr. President, I just wanted to remind everyone on April 9th on Tuesday, the free produce giveaway will be at Our Lady of Peace Community Center. So it's sponsored by the Cleveland Food Bank, so if anyone is in need, you can go there. I think it begins at 1. I'm not sure about that time, but it's on Tuesday, April 9th.
Thank you. Ms. Holman?
Yes, Councilor Foglio, is there a number or way that they can call just to be sure about the timing of the event, or just any contact information?
I think they can probably call the parish office. I thought it was 1 to 3 too, because everybody has to get there early in the morning to pack. I'm pretty sure it's 1 to 3.
Thank you.
Mr. President?
Yeah.
I probably missed when I should have said this, but I had a complaint. Can I talk about it now?
Right ahead.
I guess it's something you don't know. Anyways, so a very nice lady on Grove Drive, I got a call today. So just a couple things checking on. Do we have any timeline, Mr. Manager, for the blighted houses when they're supposed to come down? For
I don't believe that the land bank has received the money yet.
okay, sometime this year.
I think the grant lasts over a 2-year period, but I mean, we're going to try to get it down as soon as we can.
Okay, so she had a question about that because one of those was on the list.
Well, again, remember, the list that I've said this before, the list that we did that declared them blighted was just to make sure we had enough houses on there. I do know that there are a few on Grove Drive that we do intend to take down, but that list was to make sure that we had enough houses throughout the county declared blighted.
So, can I ask you if this house is on the list?
We can talk about it after the meeting.
Okay, sure. Then the other thing is, if there's...
I'm also wondering, might they be able to call the land bank directly for that information?
They can, but again, we haven't. I'm on the land bank board, so we haven't received the money yet, and that's kind of what everything is waiting on right now. So.
Okay. And that's why she called me, because she knew you had that information. Across the street from her, they had a pothole, was cold patched, it kind of popped out. I figured since I'm on the subject, across from 132 Grove. And then I know I reported this a couple times, and I'm wondering if when you're doing that Route 84, you're coming down Main, right? Or they're gonna get up to Main to the tracks? So there's that one area, I don't know which side of the road it is, as you're coming this way, that standing water, I think it was an old aqua repair, but it doesn't drain. I probably complained numerous times on that one. But I figured is there a way that maybe the engineer, somebody can look at that if you're gonna go down Main anyway?
Remember, this is an ODOT project, so we can ask them to look at it, but it depends on where the issue actually is over there. I believe we have been out to look at that several times, and I think Aqua has been there as well.
Okay. Thank you.
Mr. President, I have something that I don't know. Probably, once again, probably not the right time to bring this up.
That can
But Mrs. Mills kind of jogged my memory with the blighted house thing. We have 2 houses, one on East 15th and one on East 14th back to back that burned down almost simultaneously. And I don't really see any cleanup being done over there, and I didn't know what the status was. And I guess my concern is, as a adolescent in that neighborhood back in the day, that for sure would have been an exploratory trip. Mm-hmm. I just don't want some kids getting, falling into that basement.
Mm-hmm. So, if I'm not mistaken, there was not insurance on either one of those homes. I can't remember if we have these sent for charges. I know the fire department has been looking at both of those, and we're also trying to figure out. It seems everything falls on us to take care of, even though it's private property, but we will, if there are funds available for us to do that. We started a program with the land bank this year for specifically these types of issues, where there are fire damaged homes that didn't have insurance. I just don't know what the status of those 2 houses are.
I just didn't know if they needed to be added to the tear down list, or
we're aware of them, and I just can't remember where they're at in our code enforcement / court enforcement, all that fun stuff.
Thank you very much.
Mr. President, if I might, one of the houses I know we've charged the person who burned the house down with arson. So that's in the middle of a criminal prosecution in the Court of Common Pleas right now. I don't think the other one they've been able to, we've charged anybody with, but we'll give them time, especially if they don't. It'll be a while before any court-ordered code enforcement action is taken.
Thank you.
But in the meantime, they're responsible for securing the property and the premises, just like they would any abandoned house in the city.
So there's no fence, there's no safety of any kind over there. I mean,
So we will send the code enforcement folks over to look at it.
thank you.
Mr. Manager, can I ask now then on Center Street, that firehouse,
Those are also part of that list.
was that one on the list? Okay. We drove by that one on
And that-
Saturday, and it sits back off the road, so you don't see it right away, and then you kind of,
Yeah, that particular individual also owns a real gem on East 23rd Street. He's been to jail twice. That property is still not cleaned up. We started that in 2015. Like I said, he's been to jail twice. He owns those two properties. And I'm sure if we have the funds to do it, and I'm pretty sure he's in court on the Center Street ones as well.
As long as we're on burnt housing, what about Mr. E's? How are we doing on Depot Street?
I believe they have signed a voluntary demo in share of a cost with the land bank. I hope you guys all realize how important the land bank is, because none of this stuff would be happening without the work we're doing there, and thank God we had that set up when we did. I believe that one has, I believe there has been an agreement on that one. Yeah.
Mr. President? Well, since the conversation has turned this way, I have a question. So there's a house that I had reported on the corner of 58th and Jefferson. Most of the windows are broken. What happens in that situation? Because I believe that owner is an out-of-town owner. Do we board them up, or what, I guess what happens in that?
We send the letters notifying them that there's violations on the home. They're given a certain amount of time to either remediate those violations or demolish the house. If they don't do it within a certain amount of time, we send it over to the court for charges.
So the broken windows just remain broken then?
Well, I mean, we don't replace the windows. No.
No. I'm just asking.
No, I'm saying hopefully there are times, like if it's accessible on the first floor and we have issues with the home, we will try to do that. You have to remember the cost of plywood has soared.
I understand all of
and
that.
so it's extremely expensive for us to keep doing this. We never recoup the money for these houses.
Right.
But they're only given a certain amount of time to make those repairs. The homes that we know are not going to be, we don't give any extensions, we don't do anything, we immediately send it over for charges.
So when you have like a perfectly fine house that somebody that lives out of town just lets go to blight, that's just such a shame.
It is. And unfortunately we deal with it more than our share.
Okay. Well, I'm going to have tell us something we don't know. The idea, we're supposed to end on a high note, so. But I'm just going to say, I drove by the hospital last night, I think it was. I don't know. But all the lights were on. Maybe it was early this morning. All the lights were on in the addition, and you could see, man, whoever built that, they did a heck of a job. Can I say heck of a job? They did a really good job. You could see all the patient rooms up there, and it's just really, it's really neat to see. That's going to be such a wonderful addition to our town. It just, like you were like looking at a big hospital in a big city. It just looked really cool when I drove by there. And so that's somebody who worked as a janitor at the old hospital. And so it's really impressive for me to see that. So and then also, it's spring, and Ashtabula, we shine all year, but we really shine in the spring and summer. So I'm happy to see that this time of year coming, hopefully. Anybody else? Okay, now we have time for the public. We have anyone who would like to address council. All you need to do is approach the podium and state your name. If you would share your name with us and your concerns, and if your name and address, and share your concerns. We ask you to talk for 5 minutes, and then if you need to come back later, that's always an option also.
Good evening. My name is Kimberly Sims.
Kimberly?
You wanted me to state my name and address?
Yes, please, would you?
My name is Kimberly Sims, and I live at 821 West Prospect Road, Ashtabula, Ohio.
Thank you.
I am on the recreational committee that they have in the meeting tomorrow. Unfortunately, I wasn't able to come to the last meeting. I did run that by Ashley Bell that I had surgery.
Okay.
So that was the reason for my absence. My concern, and I did mention it the last time I was here, and this is for Mrs. Miller and James Timonier about the potholes around Ann Avenue. And I know I was told the year before last that it was going to be on the schedule to do it last year. Unfortunately, they didn't get to it last year. So it's 2024 now, and I heard you talk about the different potholes, but I never hear anybody talk about Ann Avenue. And that's where I live at. And with that being said, I would like to know the statute of limitation on reporting your car being damaged from the potholes to the city, in which I did report it back in 2007. And unfortunately, I was going through some old paperwork, and I found my receipt to replace the tie rod that was broken on my 2003 Ford Escort. And I would like to have an answer concerning the statute of limitation on getting reimbursed for that, because when I did come to the city about my vehicle back then, they kept giving me the runaround. They would say come back, or they would call me and they let me know, and I had the proof that I had the car repaired, and it never got done. So I have some serious concerns about that, and I have the receipt to prove that. With that being said, that's all I have to say.
Oh, okay. I don't know how that would work. I would suggest you call maybe the solicitor. She would know something about that's 20 years, and I don't know the procedure. You know, if a car is damaged by a pothole, I don't know that whole procedure. I imagine it's a report would have to be filed. There'd have to be some kind of investigation into that and so forth. So I don't know how that would work.
Well,
I imagine 20 years ago.
Well, back then I did do that,
Yeah.
and I never got, and I only been here in the county, I think maybe 6 years prior to this happening. So I didn't know a whole lot of information on how to go about it, but I did file a complaint about that issue, and I just got to the point where the city were just giving me the runaround. They did not want to hear me, and by me being a citizen of Ashtabula, and I felt they should have some concern, because I had 2 little kids at that time. When my car sat in that pothole on the Ann Avenue, I had to call AAA to come tow my car. Now I live like right off Ann Avenue, so I could walk home, but I couldn't just leave my car there.
Mr. President, I also have no idea what the answer to that question is, but I can tell you I had a similar incident where I lost a tie rod and a car rim and a tire, and my insurance, I was able to claim it on my my car insurance. So you might want to check with them too, because a lot of that, though it's not a collision, some of that stuff is covered under your car insurance. You might want to investigate with whoever you have.
I didn't want to use my car insurance because my insurance would have went up. And I was a single mom, and I couldn't afford for my insurance to go up because I did call my insurance back then, and I just couldn't afford for my insurance to go up because any collision or any accident you have in your vehicle, your insurance will go up. So that's why I didn't have my insurance fix it. So I fixed it on my own. Had Monroe fix it when it was Monroe. Then now it's Tire Care, and I still have the receipt. I just happened, and I mentioned this the last time I was here. It's just coincidental. I was going through some old papers, and I found the receipt.
We were negligent. Mr. President, I'm sorry. In terms of the statute of limitations, that would be considered giving legal advice, and I'm not allowed to do that. Okay. So I can give legal advice to counsel, but I can't give legal advice to individuals. So my advice would be that you consult. A lot of attorneys offer free consultations, initial consultations. I would suggest you reach out to one of them. I know I've had friends who have had problems with potholes that have damaged their cars, and they've reported it to the city, and the answer from the city's insurance company has been they will not cover it unless it's something that's extremely egregious. So
I don't want to go through all that. You know, I thought maybe I can go straight to the source, which is the city, because that's where my car got damaged.
Okay, well,
and it would probably cost me time and probably even money to even try to get a lawyer. I mean, it happened in 2007. I have the receipt in my purse. I was trying to look for it before I came up to the podium. But if you can't do anything about it, that's fine, because I end up paying out of pocket to have it fixed. It just so happened I found the receipt, and when I tried to get help from the city concerning a pothole, I didn't get the service and help that I were looking for from the city.
Right, and unfortunately the city's insurance company will not cover damage to cars done to potholes unless, like I said, the damage is extreme, or you're the 8th or 9th or 15th person and the city's done nothing to correct the problem.
Wow.
And so.
Okay, that's fine. I got it fixed. It was in 2007. My whole wheel was stuck in a pothole, so I just wanted to bring it to your attention.
Yes,
thank you very much, Mrs. Sims. We appreciate it. And
Mr. President, Mrs. Sims, just so you know, that your portion of Prospect Circle will be paved this year. Yes, you're welcome.
Mr. Manager, can you go over how you notify for the potholes where that information is?
Well, we have a hotline per se that people can call and report them. If somebody has damage to their vehicles due to a pothole, we always recommend that they immediately notify our police department so they can come out and make a police report at the scene. Typically, the way this works, and we stay out of it, the insurance company takes all the information. Once we report it to them, we don't have the decision ability in that once we turn it over to our insurance company. But typically, if it's a first notification that somebody had damage or a first notification of a pothole, we are given, it's covered under sovereign immunity or something like that with the state of Ohio. We're given a certain amount of time to correct the issue that's happened. So let's say I'm driving down the road, I hit a pothole, I break something on my car, I report to the city. 2 weeks later, you're driving by, you hit that same pothole, and you report it to the city. My car is not going to get covered because I'm the first report, but yours is because the city did not do anything about it, and you hit it the next time. So that's typically how those work. But when we are notified of an incident, we respond really quickly to try to correct that.
thank you, Ms. Sims.
Mr. President, I would also add that I find that when I do call, that they're pretty responsive within 2 or 3 days to go out and check it out. And for folks who are listening who might need the number is 440-992-7100. So it's unfortunate. I don't know they even had this available at the time.
We did,
but we did not have available. But currently, that's what we do.
And just so people are aware, unless we need more information, we probably will not call back. But it gets put into our system and on the list so that when we do go by Colmac or have the hot mix available, we'll go out and do that patching.
Thank you. And Ms. Cooper, I apologize if I
fine.
If I misinterpreted your role. I apologize for that. Thank you. Sir?
Yes, my name is William Todd. I live at 1727 East 45th Street. And I'm a master gardener, and I'm a member of the Northeast Ohio Pollinator Society. I'm concerned about the trees in the city, especially the silver maples are disappearing, and I wondered if there was any kind of plan in place to replace some of the city trees on the tree lawns. I know there's grants available for urban tree planting. Geneva just got a large grant, and they're going to have an arborist in and do an inventory, and there's a big commitment to taking care of trees, but there's some psychological benefits. Pollinators depend on them. There's a cooling effect, and I just noticed on my street it's pretty different from when I moved in there almost 50 years ago. So
with the lack of trees,
yes,
you mean?
yes, it's not as nice. It was just a beautiful street. I mean, there were trees it was a tree-lined street, and I mean that was 50 years ago. But I don't see. And some people, I just wonder what the program was. If there was a program or
I know we
a mission of some kind.
Can I answer
yeah,
the
I was going to say, I know the committee, Mrs. DiGiacomo's committee.
We met with you, and we do have Matt Leadon that we have invited to a meeting. We haven't heard back yet. But no, so we have followed up.
He's working with Geneva, I believe.
I don't know that.
I know he's Division of Forestry that I sent the email out to, so we're hoping to have him in May.
Yeah, Jeff Griffiths is on the council in Geneva, and
we met with him. We met with him.
And I believe that they just got this grant, and I just wondered if there's no plan to replace those trees, or any kind of discussions, or any kind of committee work being done on that.
Mr. President, from my perspective, you're right that the city, we have tons of trees. I know in certain areas they have not, or we've had to remove them. Many times we have to remove them because of the size that they have gotten. They're getting into sewer lines, or they've just decayed and they haven't been trimmed or need to be trimmed back, or the illuminating company or the powers that be there come in and do their trimming, which doesn't leave them very nice. We spend an awful lot of money every year addressing trees. My preference is to not replant them on tree lawns. If people want to plant them in their yards and be responsible for them, that's great. We can support that. But as far as trees planted in tree lawns that then we, the city, are then responsible for, because of the magnitude of what we have to deal with now, I'm not interested in a program like that for the city properties that would be along streets. Now, when we talk about our parks and different things like that, absolutely, we've done some native plantings and restorations and different things like that. But as far as the tree lawn trees, it's difficult.
Yeah. Okay, I just was curious to see what your thoughts were and what council was, and make them involved in it to see what there are concerns. So, yeah. I'm glad I came in and talked about it. Yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Mr. Manager, on that note, if somebody wants to plant a tree on their tree lawn, can they do it, or do they have to get a permit, or do
They would have to get permission from us, I think.
Okay.
That's probably something we need to dive. We don't get that request very often,
Right.
and it would be extremely hard for us to keep track of who's planted what and then who's responsible after that fact. So just plant on the other side of the sidewalk and we're good.
Got it.
And Mr. Manager, I just want to point out, I know of at least one city that planted trees on tree lawns on like residential streets. Probably, well, this is out in Brecksville, probably, I'd say 30 years ago, something like that. And I believe they've gone back now and had to take out trees because exactly what you said, they're starting to, the roots are starting to spread. It's gonna,
So sometimes
cause issues with
it depends on the areas that we're in, but some of our tree lawns are very small. So, for instance, like along East 6th Street, as you come in off of Route 11, we planted Cleveland pears there. I think they're Cleveland pears. But they're a controlled, we can trim them and they don't get up into the lines. It's a controlled thing. Walnut Boulevard, those trees are massive, and I'm sure tomorrow we're going to have damage and we're going to be out doing our thing, but it's just there's a lot of very huge trees in the community that cost us a lot of money to maintain. Yeah.
On the plus side, with the wind tomorrow, maybe it'll blow the leaves into like neighboring cities and out of here. I know it doesn't work that way, but we can hope.
Mr. Manager, that call that I got today, the other question was, one of the neighbors wanted to take a tree down on the tree lawn. And I said, well, you can do that, but it has to be that there's something wrong with the tree's dead or whatever, blah, blah, blah. So I guess that is not the case. It was one of those smaller trees. So can somebody take the question is, can somebody take a city tree down on the tree lawn that's healthy?
Technically, if they want to pay for it, yes, but we would like to have a conversation about that.
Okay.
Yes.
That's what I thought. Because when I had one that was dead, they came out, you guys came out, blah, 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 deemed that it was dead and whatever. And I said, I'll just pay for it myself. And you guys knew about it, and I paid for it. Okay. All right.
Okay, I meant to mention one other thing. I heard y'all talk about the trees. Now, where I live at, that whole, up there where the bridge is, it's a sidewalk right across the street from me. It's a whole bunch of trees, and those trees grew out of control. And I appreciate if you have someone come cut that stuff down, because you can't even see the sidewalk. Anybody can be hurt up in that area. You can't see through those trees, and it's just blindsided, up across the street from me. If they can cut those down this year, if possible.
You're talking about on the hillside of Route 20?
Huh?
You're talking about on the hillside of Route 20? The overpass.
Overpass,
yes.
yeah.
Okay.
It's a sidewalk that goes up there.
Right.
When I first moved over there, it was so beautiful. I mean, you can see the sidewalk. Yeah. You can walk up the little slope. You can't do any of that right now because the trees have grown out of control. If they would have just trimmed them every so often, it would have been much, much better. But now they are so tall. You can't see through the trees. Anybody can get hurt up in between those trees. You can find somebody dead. I found the dead cat up in between the trees, and I had to, because I kept smelling this foul smell like something dead, and it was a dead cat up in between those trees. So I appreciate if they can do something about that this year.
Thank you. Is there anyone else who would like to address council this evening? All right, seeing no one, our next council meeting will be April 15th, tax day. We had April Fool's Day, now we're gonna have tax day. So it'll be two bummers here in April. So April 15th at 7 o'clock, everybody have a good couple of weeks. Be careful with the eclipse and enjoy your time. Thank you.